African leaders, ne? Just wow. The whole continent is burning, and the citizens who are demanding that they are treated with the respect and dignity that they deserve are feeling the wrath of national security forces. We can be very grateful that despite the heavy-handed response to the Namibian protesters in the Shut It All Down movement right here at home, no one was killed. Nigerian youth protesting against the brutality of the security forces in the Special Anti-Robbery Squad were not so lucky. AU leaders and even the Nigerian President Buhari were just mum, and even Facebook and Instagram blocked posts on the protests as in misinformation. It took the murder of the first victim of the SARS force during the protests for Buhari to respond, and that young man was not even part of the protesters. Dr Jude Osakwe is a Nigerian living in Namibia and is also the chairperson of the Association of Nigerians in Namibia and Nigerian. He told me that there are about 600 Nigerians living in Namibia and that they too felt the need to demonstrate in solidarity with Nigerian youth. I asked him to explain the purpose of SARS.
The full meaning of SARS is Special Anti-Robbery Squad. The main reason why SARS was set up was to help fight armed robbery and kidnapping, because those are the two main issues we are facing in Nigeria. SARS has been set up for a very long time, and since SARS was set up, we have been having a series of problems. Their terms of reference, like I said before, was because it has been disbanded now, so their terms of reference was to fight crime. But unfortunately, they are deviating from what they are meant to do. So instead of fighting crime, they are now fighting those that they are supposed to protect. So that is what is causing the problem now. So innocent young Nigerian youths are now being victimized. They are intimidated. You can't walk along the road without being victimized or intimidated by this group of security agencies. They tend to look at any young person as a criminal. So when they see you moving along the road, they want to search, which is normal for a security officer. If you suspect somebody, there's a way you address the person to find out if this person is involved in any criminal activity. But for these people, they use force. They are violent. So whenever they want to do anything, if they see anybody, they want to maybe question you, everything they want to do, they use force. Most times they harass and want to take money from you. For example, if they check your phones to see what you have in your phone. No, there's so many things. And if you try to fight them, youths, if you are a youth, you have that hot blood in you. So no matter what, you may not want to be intimidated if you know you are on your right. But unfortunately, these guys don't know what is called right. So they beat them up, maybe lock them up. At times, they may lock you up, and your parents, your family may not know where you are for a very long time. So their activities became so worrisome that people now started requesting or asking government to do something about it. I think government has disbanded SARS about 3 or 4 times. When we complain, or when the people complain, government will come out that SARS has been disbanded. So the question now was, what is government really doing? Are they really saying what or doing what they are supposed to do? If you say you have this, at times instead of disbanding, that is, instead of telling us that SARS will no longer exist, they will not give it a new name. At first it was called SARS, then later they changed it to F-SARS. SARS is Special Anti-Robbery, whatever. Then later they call it Federal Special, That is, the federal government has now taken over, so they will be able to control it. But unfortunately, That is not what we see. So they kill people, they kill young Nigerians. For example, if you travel out and you are coming in, they look at you as someone that may have, come back with maybe enough money or something, and they will want to extort you. That's one thing they do. So these are the things the Nigerian youths saw, because it's really affecting the youths particularly. So this time around, they decided that enough is enough, that this must stop. Government announced that they have disbanded SARS, but that is what we have been hearing all the time. So we just hope that this time around, things will come back to normal.
I asked Dr. Osakwe to share his feelings about what is happening in his country and in Africa at large.
We are having a series of problems, particularly when it comes to politics. If you don't belong to a camp, then you are not supposed to enjoy anything. I think that is a problem generally in Africa because of the different political parties we have. Once you are not part of the ruling party, then you are not supposed to be part of anything that happens in a country. So politically, Nigeria is also like that. And when you come to African countries, we see the same thing. If you visit any African country where you have 2 or more political parties, you see that the ruling party will want to take everything, and they will not want the other oppositions to contribute their own quota to the growth of their country. So generally in Africa, when it comes to political development, we are still having problems because the leaders do not want to hand over power to any other person or people, and because of that, this sit-tight syndrome is really killing the development of Africa.
Dr. Jude Osakwe, a Nigerian living in Namibia, shared his views on the ever-increasing trend of government using security forces to brutalize their citizens. This following weeks of protest in Nigeria that have seen the blood of the youth being spilled.
Most of these people, particularly the leaders, they feel that if they instill fear on their people, they will fall in line. So most of them use this principle of instilling fear on their people. So they feel that if they use security agencies against people, they'll be afraid and then sit in their houses.
The Nigerian community in Windhoek demonstrated outside their embassy this week. I asked Dr. Osakwe what they hope to achieve.
Yeah, for Nigerians here, we don't live in Nigeria. And in as much as we don't live in Nigeria, we know what is happening there. We follow the everything that happens there. So as it is now, we have a problem. We have brothers in Nigeria. We have sisters. Our parents are there in Nigeria. So in as much as we're outside, we're in diaspora, we also follow what happens there, because if it happens to one of us there, it affects us because the bloodline is there. So as it is, we have to march in solidarity to let them know that we feel their pain. We feel whatever that is happening there. We want reforms. That is the main thing we want in Nigeria. We want reforms. We want things to change. We are not saying that the government is not trying, but they should do more. In education, even we are fighting for government to increase police salary. Yeah, because they are not well paid. At times, if you don't have money, you may transfer your aggression to someone else. Something like that. So their salary is meager. So we want government to increase their salary. We want government to look at the various sectors of our economy and see how they can boost it. that is just what the youth is fighting. Yeah, in as much as he's a government person here, he represents government here, and we feel he can take our message to government. As it is here, he's our president here in Nigeria, in Namibia, so she should be able to take our problems to the headquarters.
Aforefem Afobunor, a Nigerian activist and journalist in Nigeria, breaks down what is happening on the ground, since many Nigerians took to social media to lament the fact that their president had said nothing about the killing of youth in this country.
Now the president was forced to have that broadcast last week Monday, and he actually acknowledged the death of Jimoh Ishak and said investigations were underway to find out what exactly had happened to the young man who died and was just buried also the same day. He also promised that he was going to not just disband the Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigerian Police Force, but he was going to reform the police entirely, and he needed time to do that people should exercise patience, and people should just calm down. But afterwards, the broadcast, we actually thought, that something was going to happen immediately. Once the president said, okay, now we're going to disband the anti-robbery, the special anti-robbery squad unit, and we're going to start work immediately to reform the entire Nigerian police force, and then of course we're going to begin to investigate into the death of the young man who died at the beginning of the peaceful protest, Jimoh Ishak.
Yeah.
So I want to believe that people felt they were slow, because now they had a panel. They started calling for panels. They started asking the youth to bring representatives. Who are your leaders? Come to the panel. There's a slot for youth. Join the panel. Now the youth, on their own, told the government that they have no leaders, that they were all leaders who have decided to take responsibility for the injustices that has been happening and meted out on them. One of the things that the special anti-robbery squad units have been quoted to have done to young innocent Nigerians is to extort them, to go to their ATMs, ask them for money, brutalize them, injure them, and also kill them and rape them. So some of these things. So the youth told the government that they have no leader. What they want is for work to be done. They want to see results. They want the government to apprehend, bring to book the killers, the perpetrators. No one was answering. No one was no one was apprehended. No police officer. No names were mentioned by the government. But the government kept insisting, there was a panel and the youth should have their representatives at that panel. And no leader, the youth didn't give up a leader. They said they were all leaders and they just wanted the government to do their job. So nothing happened. The protest continued. It became larger, spread more across the country.
Reportedly, 70 protesters lost their lives in what has been dubbed the Lekki Tollgate massacre. Nigerian activist and journalist Aforefem Afobunor broke down what transpired there.
Something that started out as a very peaceful protest. Lekki Tollgate was not just the only center of the protest, but most Lagosians most people resident in Lagos, Nigeria, went to Lekki Tollgate to air their views. While at Lekki Tollgate, there was a lot of obstruction, of course, for businesses. People were on the road for days. They couldn't get to work on time. Many people avoided work completely. They stayed back at home. They couldn't face, that number of crowd on the road.
Yes.
And the government of Lagos State on Tuesday decided to announce a curfew on Tuesday. I missed the protest. People were already out on the street protesting, and then they announced there was going to be a curfew at 4 p.m. from 4 p.m. and everyone should go home. So what had happened is a lot of people have lived very far away. Many people couldn't get home on time. Some people decided to disregard the announcement for some reason best known to them and remained at protest ground, not just Lekki toll gate. So we have people also at Ikeja who were protesting, also, disregarding the curfew, and they remained at different locations where this peaceful protests were being held. But for some reason, their evidence is that the cameras at Lekki toll gate were being taken out. The staffs were leaving the premises when it was the governor made another announcement to extend the curfew time to begin at I think it was supposed to now begin at 9 p.m. as opposed to 4 p.m. But the 4 p.m. announcement was well circulated, much more, than the new announcement of 9 p.m. So most people took that the time for the curfew was 4 p.m. and not 9 p.m., even though we had to extend it. And you have to extend it because a lot of people appealed that they were stuck on the road, they were stuck in traffic, they couldn't get to their homes before 4 p.m. So before the curfew was announced, the Nigerian army had earlier announced that they were going to have crocodile smile sessions beginning on the 21st, I think, of October up to the end of the year. So, but it was not for the protesters because a lot of people suggested that, they wanted to unleash the army on peaceful protesters, so they were making that announcement. So the army debunked that news and said, no, it was not for the peaceful protesters, that it is a regular exercise they actually undertake on an annual basis just to ensure the safety of Nigeria. So they debunked that news. And just the day after, at Lekki toll gate, the lights went out. The witnesses there on ground said they saw men in military uniforms.
Yes.
And they suggested that the men in military uniforms were men of the Nigerian army. They started shooting at peaceful protesters. And now the peaceful protesters couldn't see clearly because, of course, everywhere had gone dark.
Yes.
We've now been informed by the signage company who took out the lights at the toll gate, because the toll gate is usually lighted up every night, all through the day, 24 hours. So they have actually now issued a statement to the public that they have to take the lights out because of the curfew that was announced. So they took it as everyone had gone home. They had to shut down the whole place, so they took out the lights. It was not deliberate. They already said that was not deliberate to attack the peaceful protesters. But there's been a lot of people saying that when there was curfew during COVID-19, when there was a nationwide lockdown, the signage company never took out their lights. The lights were still on throughout the curfew during COVID-19. So I take out the light. All of a sudden, when the curfew was announced to ask everyone to stay back home, including the peaceful protesters. So there's been a lot of information flying around. People are trying to link the dots and everything. But what had happened at Lekki toll gate on Tuesday this week is called the Lekki Tollgate Massacre. There have been reports that over 70 people died. Eyewitnesses have said that they took some bodies away, so they couldn't retrieve the bodies. The Nigerian army have debunked that and called it a fake news, and that they were not at the Lekki toll gate. So right now, the international community is asking the Nigerian government to investigate and who are these persons in uniform in the military uniform who had attacked young, peaceful protesters in Nigeria. So I know that as at yesterday, the U.S. mission Nigeria has called on the Nigerian Vice President, Professor Yomi Osibanjo, to a meeting to begin investigations, concerning what exactly happened. Everyone is denying and not taking responsibility for the massacre that has happened at the Lekki toll gate. And just yesterday, the president has again addressed the nation, and he had said that he acknowledges that innocent lives have been lost due to, the protest, which has also been hijacked by mobs and thugs. So he acknowledged that innocent lives have been lost. But now Nigerians are so upset because he never acknowledged that lives were lost at the toll gate, the Lekki toll gate. So right now, a lot of people feel sad. A lot of people in Nigeria want to leave. A lot of young people in Nigeria are looking for an exit out of Nigeria. I've had a lot of people call me, they want to be out of there. A lot of young people feel they don't feel safe anymore. They feel like they will be targeted. Exactly. Because now that the government is hiding the truth, for them, it is saying they're not safe. It means if something goes wrong and something happens to them, the government is going to tell the world that they never existed. That is what the speech of the president, which was broadcasted live on national TV, sent out yesterday, because no acknowledgement whatsoever to what had happened at the Lekki toll gate on Tuesday.
And with that, it's a wrap. Stay woke with It's a Wrap by following us on our social media pages. It's a Wrap Nam on Insta, It's a Wrap Namibia on YouTube, and It's a Wrap with Erica Gebhardt on Facebook.